Recording. Marvellous. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader. And today we're talking about something very apt because lots of you are doing them all the time. We're talking about 20Ks. I'm not going to talk about how you set them up and any of that. I'm going into the nitty-gritties of the most important thing, which is getting appointments and hopefully keeping those appointments, okay? Because people are very flaky. So I want to say this to you. The best kind of appointment you're ever going to get is one, I am recording. The best kind of appointment you're ever going to get is somebody that knows, likes, and trusts you. Okay? Because you have a relationship. The other side of it is somebody that refers you, who already uses you, also has that relationship and a relationship with the person they refer you to. That one is going to be so much better. What this is tapping into the cold market, a bit like people that go out and give out neighbour letters and then go back and knock the door. What you're doing is tapping into the cold market to people that you've never met before. And I want to share this with you. It is the most remarkable thing to meet somebody, often in the middle of a field. It might be a fete, a church, school, whatever. To meet them first off and then to be invited to their house, which is much better than doing this because this is very easy to cancel. Okay. But if you think about you don't know them and then you're going to go and show them something and they are possibly going to switch 3, 4, 5 services. I've had somebody switch 7 all at one go. And if you think about that, isn't that remarkable? It's phenomenal. So what we've got to be particularly good at is building rapport and believing that this is the best thing since sliced bread and it's really going to help them. Hang on, we've got somebody coming in. Let me just mute it as ever. Okay. All right. If I don't do that, there's in the background. So, building rapport, getting an appointment, and an appointment that's going to hold true so that we don't lose them. How many appointments do you make and then they cancel? I've had one this week. And then I was meant to have another one this evening at 7 and they've postponed that one. And I'll explain to you why. In the scheme of things, we are the least most important person to them in their lives. What we're doing is, first of all, dealing with something that most people don't want to deal with, which is bills. Ugh, bit boring, a bit kind of like, oh, I've got to face the music. Oh, and given that I've been talking to a few very new partners recently and hearing their take, for many people, dealing with bills is a nightmare. It's something that they would rather not do. So here we are, all zippy and full of the joys of the world, that we're going to help them. So I'm going to have to close my window. The next door neighbour is using a bandsaw. Not helpful. So we've really got to be very good at this. So I'm going to just show you a picture. Okay, share my screen. And okay. Right. That is Jason Reed. That's Michaela McKinnon. That's me. And that's Leslie Scotstoun. And this was last week. And this was at the Gillingham and Shaftesbury show. It was very busy. very busy indeed. In fact, the Wednesday was more busy than the Thursday. Okay. Um, and we were busy. Now, I want to show you something. Can you see this here? Well, I've got my mouse going over it. It's a wheel that you spin, and it says things like bubbles, toy, girl toy, sweets, chew, whatever. It's something new that we're doing, and it's called Spin the Wheel. And I'm investing in buying stuff for kids. I have got a thing on there that says 7 and under. Okay. And because otherwise you get adults and teenagers coming over just after something for free. And the things that I've bought are very suitable for little ones. Now, why have I done this? Because what we want to do is engage conversation with our prime market, which is mostly families. Silver surfers are good as well, okay? But families is the thing, because it's families that are being hit the hardest in this economy. They have got masses going out. And in fact, on the Thursday, I discovered one of our team, couldn't believe it, is paying £2,020 a month on rent on a 4-bedroom house. How can you ever save for a mortgage if you're paying out that? And she horrified me also with the cost of her council tax. So people are really very it's tight out there. It's tough. Okay. And I believe that what we're doing is really helping people to release disposable income that they didn't have. That's the aim, is to consolidate these bills, to make it simple in one, consolidate them, and to give them not just better quality services that transfer over, but the spend transfers to always pay less. So we give them disposable income that they didn't have before. Isn't that great? Yeah. So how can you get that to be exciting? Well, I think what you mustn't do is labour on the price, because you've got to remember, when we're making an appointment, we don't know what we can do for them at this point. Everybody's individual. Some people may be so lucky as to live in a city fibre area, and they're going to get even better value. They'll get 6 months free broadband. Yeah. And some people don't have any full fibre like me. And I'm on the really old-fashioned analog line with broadband, and I get 11 megabits per second, and I pay quite handsomely for this. And there's lots of my type of situation around. When you live in the rural areas of Dorset, it's quite remarkable. So we can't make loads of great promises, but what we can do is testify, and that's a big word, testimonial. They say stories sell. So what I do is have my own bill on my clipboard, and I use my bill to actually show people my scenario. And I explain it to them where I am. I explain how it is. And then I show them how incredibly clever it is that, in addition that I've already got great value, my everyday spending is now giving me money off my services so much that it's very much eliminating our 2 unlimited data mobiles, and very often the phone and broadband. And so when I've put them into the drawer, and I'm not going to talk about getting them over, right? That I'm just keeping to this consolidation thing. So they've come over, somebody, the little person, this is what we do, and you can follow it. A little person in the family, little girl or boy, gets a chance to spin the wheel. Now, this is what you must do. Someone is in charge of that bit. Okay. And then what I've been doing is, it's been me, because I want my team to gain. So I know how to build rapport with little children because I've got some. I've got three little grandsons and I know how to chat to children and keep them engaged. A bit of fun. They kind of don't know how to spin the wheel, so I'm playing around with them and I'm explaining all this because I want to keep them engaged for as long as possible. And I chat away and then they get something. And then I do ask permission of the parents, is it okay if this is allowed? Because not being funny, oh, I'd rather give them fresh fruit, but I'm afraid it's sweets with ease and God knows what else in them. Um, so if they land on a sweet, is it okay for mum and dad? Well, I realise that lots of parents don't give a damn about what their kids eat. So invariably, it's fine. But in the meantime, as I'm doing this, I then look to my team and say, right, so little Samantha here is having a go at spin and win. Right. So I would say, I've got Melissa coming on Thursday. Right, Melissa, you go and talk to mum. Now give mum a chance to win £20,000. And we're not asking her, we're telling her in the nicest way. And we haven't had anyone say, oh, no, no, I don't want to do that. Because they just see, oh, right, my kids get to win a toy or a sweet. I get to win 20 credit. How good is that? So we explain to them that it's barely 3 weeks away, that on a Saturday, the 12th, about 6,500 of us are going to be in the Birmingham NEC. And I usually say to them, so if I get to hear and I say their name, that you are the lucky person that's going to get the phone call, I shall stand on my chair and whoopee because you'll get the phone call. Please don't put the phone down if you hear it's utility warehouse. Please say that to them. Because if you win the 20,000, I get £1,000. And they go, oh, wow. And you've started to build a bit of a relationship, a rapport. You actually see their whole posture relax more. It's not a scam. So I take their details immediately. And I always start off with, I'm Lisa with my name badge, and you are? And then I get their first name and then the second name. First line of your address, and then I take the postcode. And then I say to them, and the winning number is, and I start it off 07, and they finish it off. Very few people these days actually give a landline number. All right. It has swung, the balance has swung now. So now you've got their details. And I usually, to help relax them more, I say, you don't want junk, do you? And they go, no. And I put a line through email on purpose. And that striking out the email also helps them realize this is real. Okay. What do you do next? Well, I purposefully hold my clipboard and I say, right, I'm going to read you 3 questions now. And it is, are you open to hearing how you can save on your essential services? And most people with a little bit of common sense or logic will say yes. And then I say, are you a homeowner? And I get a yes or a no. That's what I'm looking for. Now, the last question, would you be interested in an extra income? I know most people say no. So I say to them, how would you like some more income coming in your household? And most people say yes. Different way of putting it. Okay. So now, mostly I'm looking for 3 yeses. And I say, great, you're in that drawer. And then I look at them and say, I bet you're wondering why Utility Warehouse give away £20,000 every year. Do you know that's what's going on in their mind? And to pose the question that they're thinking of is a good thing to do because they believe this is a sprat to catch a mackerel. True? Yeah. There's got to be a reason. So what you're doing is right in their face, you're actually saying to them. And I say to them, I'll tell you why, because they don't do all that TV and marketing and spending hundreds of millions of pounds a year, wasting customers' money. What they do is work through recommendation. So I'm here today, which is quite unusual because we reach out at these shows and events to reach to the wider public. But most people come to me, I say to them, because it's a family member or a trusted friend that's recommended. And people like that because if you were going to look for a plumber and you had sprung a leak in your boiler, what you wouldn't want is someone coming in and making a hack job of it. You'd want someone that really knew their stuff. And so recommendation is the way. And you see them nodding. And I say, now look, I'll tell you why I've been a happy customer for 23 and a half years. Now I can say that because it's the truth. And now on my clipboard, I show them my bill. And I describe exactly what's on that front page. And I say, look, here we go. 6 services, 4-bed house. Take a look at this. Isn't that ridiculous? £111.40. And do you know what? I do laugh and I go, I meet people paying more than that just for their gas. Then I show them the bill and I run through it. And then the last page is about the cashback. And I say, now look, this is what makes UW unique. And as my accountant says, it's making your money work smarter for you. Great line. If you've never written anything like that down, write it. Because what you're trying to help them to do is realize this is clever stuff. The spending you would do anyway is now going to earn you money, which is going to eliminate the cost of services, as you can see here. And I show them, look, all my little bits. And I say I mostly shop at farms and stuff like that because I like to, I like to support the farmers. It doesn't matter where I spend money, I get money back. And as my accountant says, that's smart because I then go back to the front page and say, every a bit of money, and as you can see this month, it was about £37. That's eliminated both mobiles and almost our phone and broadband. Here it is. Here's the close. How would you like your everyday spending to start eliminating the cost of your services? Now, they've got to be, excuse me, thick if they don't think that's clever. Yeah. Most people turn around and go, well, yeah. So I don't ask for an appointment now. I say, great, we need to meet. And I learned that phrase off my wonderful recruiter, Rob Barris, that introduced me nearly 24 years ago. I heard him say it many years ago. Great, we need to meet. Yes, we do, don't we? We need to meet. And they go, yes. So I just go, right, hang on there. Now I reach under the podium and I grab my diary. And I open it up and I say, right, do you work during the day? Now, in this bit here, I do masses of fact finding without them realizing it. I say, oh, do you work during the day? Yeah. Oh, what do you do? Yeah. Now, I'm hoping that someone else that's looking after the children is keeping them occupied because I want to get as much information as I can. And then if the husband's there, that's great because they're both there. Oh, it's the best one is if they're both there because you want both of them to agree to this. And then I say, right, okay, so it's probably going to be an evening or a weekend then. And they'll go, yes. Now, I've got a gentleman that I met on the Thursday. This is nuts. He can't see me until Saturday, the 3rd of October, because he works full time in the day as fabricator. And then he has about an hour to an hour and a half at home, meal with the family, the kids, and then he's off out to Blandford Camp, working behind the bar every night. Would you say that that was a tough life? And when he told me, I said to him, oh my word. I said, never mind, save you some money. I said, I need to give you an opportunity that means you won't have to work so hard. He said, oh, tell me about it. I said, how would you like to be able to eliminate that evening job? And he went, well, yeah. I said, well, I've got the very thing for you. I said, because this is nuts that I can't see you until the 3rd of October. What he doesn't know now is I can't see him then anyway, because I'm going to be away, but I'm going to do it through Zoom or try and bring it forward. Okay. But this is how it's it's what you call, and some of you will understand this, it's called the assumptive close. It's an assumption without being pushy or coercive. All right. I'm assuming that they're interested. Now, at this point, I'm trying to get an appointment in. Now, I usually let them have three options, and I'll say, oh, well, if it's got to be an evening, well, look, I can do, I could do possibly Thursday night, could do Saturday or Sunday, prefer the morning so it doesn't wreck the whole weekend day, and see what they come up with. Sometimes we have to move it to the next week, but give them this. I say, look, when we make this, I need this to be set in stone because I'm going out of my way to bring you something that is going to absolutely improve your life beyond measure. All right. And it's all going to be nice and simple, unlike the complex that you deal with at the moment. My aim is to come and show you, simplify everything, and help you and reduce those bills so you've got more money to spend. Really good. Now, once you've got an appointment, and someone like Roz has heard this 1,000 times from me, I think, you've not got to assume that that's a great appointment because now you've got to stand back and look at them and just say, so Cynthia, you've said to me we could do Thursday at 7:30, the 27th. Are you sure there's nothing that will get in the way? Now, you're not a Corrie fan, are you? Or Procrastination Street or Zimmerdale? Have a laugh with them, okay? Or is there something that could get in the way that you can't remember? And let them think a moment. Now, are you ready for the ultimate get them at an appointed time? Have you ever had anyone say, well, I haven't got my diary with me and I really don't know when I'm available? Have you ever had that? Yeah, I have. Do you know what I say to them? This is great. I say, okay, yeah, that's all right. So tell me, when can I phone you when you're definitely at home and you're got access to your calendar or your diary? And they go, oh, well, Saturday morning. I'll say, great. I tell you what, if you're there definitely, why don't I come and see you Saturday morning? You got 'em by the short and curlies because they've told you they're definitely in to have that call with access to their diary. All right, now there you are. Now you've got them there. So, what do you do as it gets to the appointment? Okay, you cannot, if you're going to see them, just hope and pray that you travel and they're there. You can't possibly do that. And even if it's a Zoom appointment, what they don't realize is that we do lots of prep work, don't we? We do a pre-quote and all the rest of it. So I always phone them. Now, some people will chicken out and they'll send them a text or a message, but can I tell you, if you do that, you're likely to get a text or a message back that's a no. And if you're afraid to phone them, then that means it wasn't such a strong appointment as you thought anyway. So I rang yesterday, the one that's meant to be at 7:30 tonight, and she spoke and said, oh, I need to postpone this. I said, oh, what a good job I've rung you now then. Like, I wonder when you were going to tell me. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Even though you've said to them, please, please don't leave it to the day because I can't refill that appointment. Anyway, so that has been postponed and it's next week now. But you need to make that appointment. The other good one is if you're setting off for, say, a half an hour drive, about 10 minutes before I'm in the car, I ring them and say, hi. Let's say the name was Megan. Hi, Megan. It's Lisa Ware. I'm on my way. Is there anything I should know about parking at your place? All right. It's an assumption. Yeah. I've actually had someone that say, oh, I forgot all about it. I say, oh, great. Good job I phoned you then. Marvellous. I'm on my way. I'm coming. Yeah, you've got time to get ready. And it's interesting, actually, because I've had that happen a few times. And interestingly enough, they have become customers. All right. Should I tell you what it is? Do you know that a dentist or the doctors now, they keep sending out all these text messages, don't they, for people with their appointments? Do you get that too? I'm always amazed. And they keep doing it because evidently people are just appalling at remembering or actually just being organised with a calendar or a diary. People's lives are full, immensely full with all sorts of stuff. And it's not that they mean to forget, they just are not organised. I mean, I do meet people that join this opportunity, and I'm absolutely gobsmacked when they say that they haven't got a diary because I can't imagine life without a diary. I wouldn't know what I was doing or anything. But there are a lot of people out there that don't think that it applies. I mean, my husband's finally got a diary now. It's taken him a few years, but he's now got one. All right, because how can you remember everything unless you're very good at using your calendar on your phone, right? That's another one. So there we are. That is how you get those appointments. Now, you will get some people that no matter what are not interested. They don't want to give you the name or the number. Can I just say to you, please, please don't fight them. Let them go. You do not want a battleground. All right. We're looking for the people that are open to this, not one that you've got to fight it to get it, because you'll always have a fight, and invariably they're not interested. So what's the point? Don't try and make it a battleground to convert them. All right, because in the scheme of things, there's a lot more no's than there are yeses, and that's always the way it'll be. Right, it's exactly 5 o'clock. Would you like to unmute yourselves about this only and not individuals? Have you got any questions about the booking of appointments? Yes, Ros.
I'm just wondering where you got your thingy from. The
You know what? I think I Googled it. I think I put spin the wheel and up
Yeah,
came lots of different ones. And do you know, I bought it last year. I can't even remember where I got it from, but it was Shalane Detmer that told me about somebody that she went on a stand and they had this. And some,
Lisa Sherman.
yeah,
Lisa Sherman had it.
yeah. And some people are also doing their bubble machines to keep the kids occupied.
Oh, good idea, really.
Yeah. I tell you what it is. You know when you're slipping, right, which we do anyway, it's fine, all right? But can I tell you, you haven't got to even try. If any of those people, by the way, that were on the stand were on here now, they'd tell you, I'm not joking, the kids come over regardless. They come over and mum and oh, and this is what you do. You say to them when they come over, you say, it needs your mum and dad here. We can't do this without them because we need their permission. And that's it. Mum and dad come over then.
Yeah,
And then when you've got mum and dad there, sometimes you have kids with grandparents, and that's fine as well. But it also, when it starts building up, which is rather good, and partners are getting busy talking to parents, um, it brings over those that don't have kids as well anyway, because it's human nature. People are always worried that they're missing out on something, aren't they? So a
Yeah.
busy stand is a great stand because they want to be part of something that they think they're missing out on. The worst thing in the world is to have loads of people, partners, stood around with no one to talk to. Yeah.
Can I just say something? There's
Yeah.
loads on, I've just looked at it, loads on Amazon.
All
I was
right.
just going to go on there. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I didn't pay a lot. I can't remember what I did. I think it might have been something like 15 quid. Might have been that. But as far as I'm concerned, it's an investment in my business. And it was quite incredible how many appointments we made last week from the fact that we had this. And I've been very clever at getting toys. Anyone heard of what's it called? Is it British Home Bargains?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You want to see the stuff that I've managed to pick up. It's normally things for party bags. And I've
Yeah.
got these little cellophane bags that seal. I've managed to get 100 for like 3 quid. So I'm putting all these individual things in a little bag. It looks really good. And then we have like tubs of chews and lollipops and all the things that kids shouldn't have, I'm afraid. But it works.
Going to give it a
It,
go then. I'm going to
it's a
just going to order one.
It's a fantastic way of getting people over and to retain the parents a bit longer to really build the rapport and get the information and get an appointment sealed in. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa.
So, anything else, or are we done on that one? Yeah. Was that cool? Was that helpful?
Definitely.
Yeah. By the way, that picture, the one that I sent out, I don't know if you know, that was the very first. It used to be called Win a Mini, but that particular was the Ideal Home exhibition, which I set up, and there was no mini. It never existed. And I created a form, which you now call the application form, with questions on it. It was all, I got it printed by my local printer in black and white. The whole thing was my idea. And it was a 4-day stint at the Ideal Home exhibition at the Bournemouth International Centre. Everybody paid £50 22 years ago.
Wow.
All right. And people moan about paying 15 now. Makes me laugh. But I tell you what, they were queuing up. Do you remember when minis had only just come out? It was round then. And I begged the organizer, could we have Rob Barris's brand new utility warehouse mini on the stand? And he said yes. And what was so funny was there was no mini. I bought this model mini, a really nice one, which cost me about, I think, 40 quid. And then I bought a magnum of champagne, the little circle table in my in my lounge, covered it in a purple cloth with the champagne on, and the forms to be compliant in a font 6, tiny, said win a mini. And only one member of the public actually realised that it wasn't real. But what happened was that Critch came down because Rob rang him and said, oh my God, you want to see what she's set up here? And I'm going to point out to all of you, I was a team leader at the time. I had done 2 years of one customer a month. And then I made the decision I wanted this to work. And it's, if you've been listening to Joe Harcup Sunday's replays, if you haven't watched it yet, do so. Bloody amazing, right? And I'm swearing now. When you make the decision that you're going to make something work, and I came up with this idea, and I bought loads of balloons and put them up from a discount place called G&T's, and bought bought a load of pens and everything else, and anyway, came up with this idea we needed to engage with the public. I had 10,000 flyers made up that said, come to stand 10T2 to win a mini. And I got the organizer to go in the goodie bags as the people came in. I had my kids outside the Ideal Home exhibition giving them out. And even though we were in the worst part of the whole exhibition, we were the busiest. And we never stopped. And it was 4 days. And it was such a success. And the reason that I continued this was because from that show, in the next 40 days, I put on 87 customers from
Wow.
having done one a month. All right. 87 customers. And some of them were referrals because when I went to see them, I had my little referral book and I would often take most of them, I'd be getting 3 referrals off them. So this is all about, this is a lead into the cold market that then can become your warm market. And in fact, the reason I pursue it is because if I take a look at all my leaders, most of them have come from 20k giveaways, winner minis. So there you are. That's how it all began. Ladies and gentlemen, next week, where are we? It will be the 1st of September. Woo! The 1st of September. Okay. See you guys. Nice to
Thanks,
speak to you.
Lisa.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Lisa.
Bye.